Okay, so next we're going to start piecing together our composition. Now, before we start this, you may want to review this video here. In the video, they go over some of these really important things to think about when we're thinking about laying out our design. Things like negative space, leaving space between key elements so the design doesn't look too busy, proximity. Elements that are close together should relate to each other, so that's really important to think about, right? We want to make sure that we're putting like all of the ticket information together, the dates and stuff like that when it's starting together. Repetition, using similar colors, shapes, and graphics, also fonts, to pull the design together. For example, if you don't use, like a cartoonish type of graphic with a realistic looking graphic, we want everything to be cohesive. Contrast, making sure that all important elements stand out. This is especially important with the text. So we're going to be thinking, this is going to be coming along in the next couple steps, but while we're doing this, we can still think about, okay, is something standing out or not? How can we make it stand out using like layer styles or other graphics behind the text? Alignment. Elements such as images, graphics, and text should be aligned to each other so it feels organized. We don't want to just throw things in random places. We want to make sure that things are aligned to certain edges to each other. Focal points, think about what is going to catch the viewer's attention. So whenever we're making a design, one of the first things we want it to do is to catch someone's attention, or else it's not doing a good job. So what are we going to be using in our design that's going to catch someone's attention? There can be multiple focal points, and if there are, they should help move our eye around the design and not just stay in one place. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. So first off, we're going to want to turn on the grid. So let me go ahead and pull this out a little bit. Now the grid is going to help us with the alignment piece, so we can see when things are getting aligned or not. So let's go ahead and go to View, Show, and Grid. Now you can see that we have all of these little squares here. And these are actually, what's going on here is we have it set up by inches. So we have 13.5 going across here. But I think I want my grid to be in half-inch increments instead. So I'm going to come up here to Preferences. And if you're on a Windows machine, I believe Preferences is actually under File. But if you're on Mac, it's under the Photoshop menu. And we're going to go to Preferences and go down to Guides, Grid, and Slices. And here you can change it. So I could put grid line every 0.5 inches. The color, you can change the color to be a certain color, whatever is going to help you to be able to see this better. So go ahead and click OK. And now you can see this is broken up by half-inch slices instead. Awesome. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and put in some guides. So let's go up to View and New Guide Layout. And for this new guide layout, we're going to be putting in, so for columns, I have 2 and rows 2, so that I have a middle line here and a middle line here. A little bit easier for me to see when things are right in the middle. For the margin, I'm putting 0.5 inches. Now, if you remember, we're doing 1/4 inch bleeds, but we don't want, if this gets printed, we don't want any of the text or any of the elements to be, if this was just 13 inches, we would put in 1/4 inch for the margins, but because we have to bleed, I'm going to put in 1/2 inch for all the margins. So for the margins, we have 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Center columns checked on so that we have this going on, and clear any existing guides. Okay, cool. So now I know that I don't want to have any of my important elements going off of the sides of these guides over here, and then I have my center guides as well. All right, so next we're going to place our background. Now there's a couple different ways to place. We can just click and drag it in, but when we go to File, Place, there's a couple of options, and let me explain what they mean. So we have File, Place, Embedded. This adds your image as a smart object and embeds it into the file. So it's now part of the file. The other option is linked. And what linked means is that it still puts it as a smart object, but the file is now linked to this file, and so any changes you make to that other file would then automatically update in this file. Now the only issue with that is that you have to remember, if you do have a linked file, you have to send the linked file to the client also, because what's going to happen if they try to open it in Photoshop, it's going to say they can't, Photoshop's going to say it can't find that linked file. For this, we're just going to go ahead and embed. So let's go up here to File, Place Embedded. All right, and I want to go to, that's not where I want to be. I want to be over here. Space Cats poster, assets. Okay, what did I decide on? I always download extra images just in case. This black hole one is kind of cool. It is a lot going on though. Let's just place it for now and see how we go. So this is working out pretty good. I know that this is a really large file, so it's brought it in so it fits this way, but I know because of how big the file is, I can actually stretch it. Okay. All right. So there we have it. I might end up replacing this. I might end up making this a little bit less intense. I'm going to hit return to go ahead and place it. Yeah, because that's pretty intense right now. So we'll see. I might have to end up changing this. But right now we're just throwing everything together, kind of sketching out our plan. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and add all the necessary text where you think you're going to want it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a minute. You should do the same and add some text. Don't add the text all into one, don't hit text and add it all into one layer. Do separate layers for each line of text so we can freely move it around. All right, I'm pausing. You do the same. Okay, so I've got my text in. Now, before I kept placing, I did want to show you guys some stuff. So first off, right off the bat, I'm feeling like I don't want to go all the way to the edge here, so I'm actually going to bring in a couple more guides. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to bring another guide in at the inch mark. So how I'm going to do that is clicking on the ruler and then dragging it in. If the rulers aren't on, you can hit Command, or if you're on a PC, Control and R, and it'll turn them on and off. So I want to make sure they're on. I'm going to click on the ruler and, what'd I do? Click on the ruler and drag it to where it says 1 inch, coolio. And then I'm going to come right over here and do the same thing. This is going to be at 12.5 inches. Okay, coolio. Excuse me. So it looks like I already had my title pretty much there already. Let's see. Let's go in here and move around so it's right up on the edge there. Now this is going to change because I'm going to be doing my effect, but I'm just trying to get, a basic idea of what I want going on. So, oops, let's go Space Cats. I'll hit Command T to transform. Okay, so I have that all figured out. Now I do want to make sure that this line, the presented by Fresno Entertainment, is centered with this. There's a couple ways I can do this. Hold on, here we go. All right, I'm gonna hit V to get back to my move tool real quick. So when I click on this layer and I start moving it around, these pink lines are telling me what it's actually aligning to. So now that the guide in the middle is pink, that means that it's aligned to that center line. Awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. Now I'm definitely going to be changing the fonts on this, but this is just to kind of get started. And it definitely is going to need some more contrast. So I think, I don't know, white, black, we'll see. We'll see. So that's looking pretty good. Now down here I do have my dates and such. And so I have my date, April 29, 2022, and then I just had 9 p.m. There was nothing else. So I was like, okay, I want to go ahead and group the things that are group things that are alike together. And the thing like the date, when it starts, and where it's going to be at are all things that can be grouped together, because you need to know when, where to show up, right? So I'm going to group these three together on this side over here. I do want to make sure that they all end up being about the same move, you know, the end, start and end in the same place. So let's see. So I think I'm going to pull in another guide. And I'm going to put it, let's see, 4-inch mark. So that leaves 3 inches from one side to the other. I think that'll work well. Actually, maybe 4.5. Let's see. All right. So 4.5 inches. So that means on this side I need another guide that's matching that. So this is 4.5 inches from that side. So we have a 1/2 inch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have one on the 9 inch. Okay, let's see. Yep, that looks about right. Cool. So that's what I'm going to be aligning these things over here for. And this is all the ticket information. So let's go ahead and do this. So for April 29th, let me go ahead and make that larger. Hit Command T, or if you're on the Windows, Control T to go to free transform. And I'm just going to click and drag until we get to this side. Awesome. Let's see what else we have here. 9 p.m. same thing. Command or Control T. Oops. And click and drag to bring it out. And you know, I'm doing this specifically to get them right aligned, but sometimes when you're working on these things, what matters more is how if it looks aligned. So if sometimes, you know, the font is a little different or something, things have to be technically misaligned, but for now we're just getting everything nice and aligned in. And actually it didn't go all the way to the edge. Let's go right to the edge. There we go. And I might end up changing the PM to all capitals. I haven't decided on that yet. Okay, and then next, I'm gonna pull my layers up a bit. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. There we go. Alright, so what was I? Oh, Fulton 55. So Command or Control T. And let's pull this out here. And let's pull this out here so everything is nice and aligned. Cool. But it is a little high there, so I'm just going to hit down a little bit. I want the spacing to be about the same from here to here. And in fact, I might email the band and ask them if it's okay if I just do April 29th, because I think then it'll be about the same size as this Fulton 55 and it'll look better. I already emailed them once to ask if we had to have the whole address, and they said no. No worries, all that information is going to be at their website. And Fulton 55 is a pretty well-known venue around Fresno, so it's not like, where the heck is this? So they're okay with that. I'm going to email them and ask them about that too. And for your project, if there's some subtle things that you want to email the band about, that's fine. All right, so now let's get over here. So I'm going to be doing basically the same thing over here. All right, I'm not going to make you watch me do it, but I'm going to align it all. And then once I figure out what's going on here, I'm actually going to add some more guides because I want everything to start and stop in the same place. All right, so I won't make you watch me do that. Let's go ahead and click on the Space Cats website. And for this, I'm actually going to, you know, for repetition's sake, I'm going to center align it so that we have it something else center aligned. So we'll have this stuff aligned up here and then that aligned down there. So let's go ahead, Command T, Command or Control T if you're on a PC, and pull this out there. And pull this out there. And then pull this down. Alrighty, looking good. So now that I've got all my text in, what other elements are we going to be pulling into this design? Let's see. All right, adding the extra elements. So let me fix this real quick because it's bugging me. Okay, so I just wanted to size these real quick because it was really bothering me that they weren't sized. Now you can see that I don't have them lined up exactly like this. I'm definitely going to have to do something here because when I pulled it all the way to the top like these are, it just feels like it's too spaced out. So yeah. Now, FYI, you guys are definitely don't have to do it like this, okay? I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. For your poster, you might decide that you want to have all the information aligned over here on the left. And in that case, you would probably want to put like the most important information first is who is playing. Second, and this is when we're talking about this, we're talking about hierarchy. What is most important? Second is the information here, where it's going to be at, the time, and the date. And so if I was going to make this left aligned over here, I would put that up here first and then do the tickets under that. You could do it all right aligned. You could do it all, you know, some down here and some up here. It's really up to you. You don't have to do it exactly like mine is all I'm saying. Okay, so this is basically where I'm going to have the text. I think, I do think that I could probably move this around a little bit more. I'm probably going to end up switching out this font for something that looks more like script type of font. And let me show you guys really quick. So let's go to that layer. And if I come here to, and this is the, oh, no, that's not the panel I want. I want the character panel. And this is all the information. This is how to change up text. The spacing between things, which is totally a thing. We can change, but with this, I'm probably going to change it to a script font. Now we can actually filter out script fonts by coming right here. And now I have all the fonts that are script-like up here. I might look for a new font because none of these are really what I want. Okay. Yeah, none of those are what I want. So no worries. We'll just leave it as it is now. I might have to go searching for a new font. For the spacecats.com down here, there was a poster we looked at where they had the website and it was in all caps and all the letters were kind of spaced out. So I think I might go with that. Let me show you real quick how I would actually go about doing that. So let me get to my layer. There we go. And first off, I want to make sure it's all caps. So I'm going to click here. And oh, it didn't go all caps. There we go, all caps. That's bold. Take that bold off. I meant all caps, the two big T's. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller for now. Let's go with 48 point. And I want to change the spacing between the letters. So, So I want to make sure that I double click on here so it's selected, and then here I can add more spacing. Okay, let's see, where's 200 take us? That's looking pretty good. I think I'm liking the 200. You can also type in here whatever you want. So if we wanted to go to 300, we totally can. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, now this is going to depend on the font too, so I'm going to end up changing the font, so I'm going to have to redo this again, but it's just, you know, so we can get an idea of what we're doing here. And actually, am I going to want to pull it up a bit? I think so. Okay. All right, so we have basically what we're going to have there. Now it's time to bring in some images. And again, I'm not going to get the specifics right now. I'm just getting the general idea of what I'm going to be doing. So let's place some more images. Place embedded, and I had a couple different ideas. I don't know. I have, you know, there's this cute cat reaching up. Is it going to load? I was thinking of maybe having that with the rocket, like it's trying to get the rocket. Another idea was a bunch of cats floating around in space. Okay, maybe. And then I had, oh, and then I found this image, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Vulcan sign. It's a Star Trek thing. But I was thinking, you know, maybe I can manipulate this to make it look like it's doing the Vulcan sign. So I think for now I am going to, let's see. I think I'm going to place this. I'm going to place, where's my laying cat? Maybe I'll do the floating cats and my kitten reaching for the rocket. So let's go ahead and place this. All right, and this one's really big. Awesome. Let's see. Oops, I accidentally moved my guide. All right, let's go ahead and put him there, and I'm going to go to one of my selection tools and then go to select and mask, and so that I can do a quick selection. I'm going to click select subject. Let's see how it does. And it's kind of hard to see because of the view mode. Let's change the view mode. Let me move myself down here. Let's put it on black. Okay, because now we can see what kind of fringing we're going to have to deal with. Alright, that doesn't look too bad, but yeah, there is some issues, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to play with a couple of these settings. Turn on the smart radius thing. Okay, and I'm going to have to do some finessing with this, definitely. Let's move this back here. I do want to make sure I hit decontaminate colors because that's going to help with taking out that green background thing going on. Okay, so for now, because I'm still working out my idea, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on refining all of this yet. Once I get it placed, I'm going to come back in here and try to work on it a little bit more. So let me go ahead and just click OK for now. And oh, I forgot to change my settings. Select and mask, my output settings. Output to selection. I actually want it to create. I'll just do a new layer with a layer mask, so I still have the full layer in my layers. So let's go ahead and hit OK. All right, and so now you can see that here's the original layer. So when I need to go back to actually get that selection really nice, I have a full layer right here. This is just my layer that I'm kind of playing with at the moment. Okay, so that's fine. Probably gonna want to make them a bit smaller. And it's kind of going to depend, uh-oh, that was outside of the thing. It's going to depend on my rocket and such too. So let's go ahead and just leave them there for a second. And so let me take care of this really quick. I'm just going to come up here to my rectangle selection. I'm going to click and drag over this area. I'm going to hit Shift Delete, and I'm going to fill it with black, because if our layer mask is filled with black, then it's not going to be showing what's on the layer. All right, cool. I'm going to hit Command D, or if you're on a Windows, Control D to deselect. All right, now let's go ahead and embed. Let's get my rocket in here. Okay. All right, and now for this, I definitely want it to probably be flipped. We have space cats, we have the cat over here, we have this is creating movement. I don't know, this might not be a good idea. Well, before I do anything, so I'm actually going to just change this. Let's see. Overlay. Overlay kind of works nice. Add some more color. Just add. Just do this for now, just to kind of get a feel of what we're doing. Kitty's trying to get the rocket. Okay, but this is creating this movement over here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to play with that some more if I decide to go with this. Alright, let's go ahead and place place my other cat. Where'd you go? I might end up adding that too. Okay, place. And again, I'm going to come and do click on a selection tool so I can go to selected mask. I'm going to hit select subject. Okay, and let's change this so I can see it on black. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Take the edge detection up, the smart radius. Love it. There are some issues though. So all of this going on back here is going to need to get taken care of. But again, I'm not going to worry about it quite yet. I'm just trying to place what I'm going to do first. I'm going to hit V to get back to my move tool. Oh, and again, we have this issue going on. Alright, so M for marquee. Click and drag over this area. Shift delete to fill with black. Okay. And then Command or Control D to deselect. Alright, and I hit Command or Control T to transform. Let's see, let's turn him a little bit. So I might, yeah, I think I might end up using this too and have them like a couple different ones turning in different places. I might have to pull in another couple cats. I'm definitely going to want to do some kind of gradient work on it, I think. But yeah, I need to, alright, I need to focus. We're really working on moving things together. Not doing that stuff yet. Alright, so, yeah, I think we're working out pretty good. I'm going to want to have my cat, not that cat, this cat. Come down here underneath this. And let's see, maybe changing this up a little bit more. I'm going to turn off my guides for a second, and that's Command or Control if you're on a Windows machine, and the semicolon. Okay. Now pulling this way in. And I'm not going to do too much work on this right now because I still need to do my text, my big text, and that's going to be a huge focal point. So if I was just sticking with this, I'd probably, you know, mess with this a little bit more. But at this point, I know that, like I said, this is going to be a big focal point. So I'm going to want to change it. Let's see. Hit my move tool. And when I have my move tool on, I can hold down the Alt or Option key and click and drag to make a copy. So I'm going to make a copy up here and maybe make a copy over here. Have a couple different ones that I'll have flying around. All right, guys. So, you know, this is the basics of just getting everything, you know, put in. Next, I'm going to be working on the actual Space Cats text. And then from there, we'll really start finessing and getting the colors and everything figured out. All right, guys, get to work on that.